Well, hello there.
Hello.
I think we're there. Sorry about that, gang, but thank you for finding us. Thank you for joining us as we go to the updated link. Yes, this happened once before. It wasn't but a month or two ago that I hit the wrong button and instead of starting the show, ended it. Well, we won't let that happen again.
It's all right. It's all right.
It is time for the game. It is Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you for joining us on this fine Super Bowl Sunday. I promised you a short show. We're going to have a watch party afterward. We're going to have a Zoom link. In fact, I've already shared it on Facebook, shared it on Twitter or X. Thank you very much, Elon Musk. If you want to stop by, say hi, join us. We watch the game, see how it goes. It's going to be damn good because today, this February 11th, is Super Bowl Sunday. This is day 42 of your best year yet. And it's the right day for the best game yet. You've got 324 days remaining in the year. Christmas in 318, Halloween in 263, Easter in 49 days, spring in 37. Well, in the upper hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, our Aussie friends, our African friends, our South American friends are saying, no, it's already summer. We're worried about it ending. Fall is coming. But yes, 37 days until spring. And real quick, because we're going to go quick. We got a lot to say in a very short amount of time. I need you to listen fast. Today on this date, 1778. Yes, 2 years after the American Revolution began, Voltaire.
Yay.
Francois-Marie Arouet. Well, it's several pen names, but his most famous one, Voltaire returns. Voltaire had been exiled. That's what happens when you try to go too fast. Voltaire the hero had been exiled for decades because of his revolutionary and somewhat blasphemous and controversial writings. He got sent away. They told him, don't come back to Paris. He came back on this date, 1778. Some 300 people visit Voltaire following his return to Paris. Well, if I'd been in Paris at the time, I would have gone and knocked on his door too and said, welcome back to the man. Now, James Valiant, don't know if he's watching the show today, often is. I hope you're in the chat. Let me make sure I've got my chat up here. There we go. James Valiant talked about Voltaire this morning. In fact, he invited Owen Christensen, a greater expert on Voltaire, to talk about him this morning. Those of you who are members of the Ayn Rand Center UK, you know who you are. If you haven't been watching or listening to or joining in on Zoom, those Sunday morning history discussions from Leonard Peikoff's History of Philosophy, you should be catching those. Well, Leonard Peikoff didn't say much about Voltaire, and that's why Owen Christensen was invited to come in this morning and give a talk.
And I must thank Owen and James for that, because Voltaire he was my first philosophical hero when I was a teenager, so I can't wait to listen to that. I haven't listened yet, so I'm really looking forward to it.
In philosophy, Voltaire, he might not have been one of the greats, but he was so influential, had an influence on all the later writers. Think of the spirit of Voltaire and then consider people like Nietzsche. Would Nietzsche have had a place without free thinkers, free thought, independent thinkers?
Yeah.
Think of writers like Mark Twain. Think of Robert Heinlein. Would these people have had that spirit without a bit of Voltaire in their blood?
It wasn't just what Voltaire wrote, but what he did and what he went through and the people that he influenced and the fact that he kept printing and kept writing while he was in the Bastille. So he was in prison and he was still writing. I believe a lot of his works are lost to time, were destroyed, and that's very sad.
And Valentine's Day is coming, and Voltaire lived a very unique love life.
Yes.
And, I said it in my 10 Unpopular Truths. I'm not an advocate of open marriage, polyamory, such lifestyles. But believe me, if they work for you, if you are one of the rare exceptions, and I think they are rare exceptions, but if you're a rare exception who can make that work, well, Voltaire was a rare and extraordinary man and made that work with the Madame du Châtelet.
Yeah, and what's very interesting about that is that from what I've read, everybody that he was with, he didn't enter into arranged marriages as a contract to create a family or to bring two large families, power structures together. I don't think he fell into that. I believe that every woman that he was with, he was actually passionately in love with. And I give him major props for that. That's a real achievement to have that kind of perspective back then.
Yes. I got the wrong... sorry. I'm just making sure I've got the chat up on the Facebook side as well as the YouTube side. Incidentally, hello to folks who are watching on YouTube. Yeah, sorry about that little snafu there at the beginning. That's the problem, is Facebook says both of these are happening now. There's the one that's real and live. And will show me that... oh my gosh, Owen is actually in the chat. Oh, and that was a great discussion this morning. Thank you very much for that.
Merci beaucoup.
And Jim, the ever-popular author Jim is here as well. Hello, Narendra. Thank you for being up so early in the morning on the other side of the globe. And on the YouTube side, effective do-it-yourselfer. Well, I am an effective do-it-yourselfer, but you are a more effective do-it-yourselfer. And if I was doing a longer show today, I would talk about all the do-it-yourselfing I've been doing this week. But hello to you. Matthew is in the chat. Christopher Smith, the musician Christopher Smith, is in the chat. Hello to you as well. And yes, we're celebrating Voltaire, but it's also, speaking of great Renaissance men, it's Happy Inventors Day. Ronald Reagan actually started it officially in the United States, but this is a day around the world. Well, who do you think inspired Inventors Day? Yes, it is the birthday of the man, Thomas Alva Edison.
Yeah. Thomas Edison was... he was a revolutionary in terms of living his life in the way that he did. He was the first person to actually put together a research and development laboratory, R&D as we call it today. Without him, he's really the model for people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and others, many others. He was really a dynamic, and not just a Renaissance man, but he was extremely dynamic, and he lived a great life. Yeah.
I've got to say this, Thomas Edison understood the importance of and the value of intellectual property rights. And there are people who like to think of Edison as a bit of a patent troll, and he really wasn't. But if you have any feelings about that, whatever, or if you just want to be able to celebrate the man as much as he deserves, you should be following Adam Mossoff on X, on Twitter. The man who gets IP, intellectual property, better than any of us. And he shares the great patents throughout history and what those patents made possible. Without that protection of intellectual property, half of those inventions or more never would have happened. And the people who patented those items and reaped the benefits deserve to be both remunerated and celebrated. Let me just read real quick here. This Resolution 140. This is Ronald Reagan. You know, we pick on Reagan sometimes for some of the hooey that came along with his administration, but in recognition of the enormous contribution inventors make to the nation and the world, the Congress, pursuant to Senate Joint Resolution 140, Public Law 97-198, has designated February 11th, 1983, the anniversary of the birth of Thomas Alva Edison, one of America's most famous and prolific inventors, as National Inventors Day. That was the first year that Ronald Reagan made that happen, and now it is Inventors Day. Excuse me. A good day to celebrate Thomas Alva Edison, the man who inspired this day and all of the great inventors.
Yeah, a couple quotes from Edison was,
yes.
Many of life's failures are people who do not realize how close they were to success when they gave up, and if we all did the things we are really capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves.
If we all did the things we are really capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves.
Yes.
I love that. I love that from Edison. It's a theme we have referred to and repeated many times, and we ain't done yet. So, yes, happy birthday, Thomas Alva Edison, and a happy Inventors Day. It's also National Guitar Day.
Oh, nice.
And on another calendar, it's Get Out Your Guitar Day.
Nice.
Now, I am young, but...
we're young, older people.
I'm old enough that I have friends who have said, oh, yeah, I used to play guitar. And that to me is, I mean, it's like somebody says, oh yeah, I used to speak English. What do you mean you used to play guitar? So yes, I love both the fact that it is National Guitar Day, but also get out your guitar day. If you've got a guitar collecting dust in a closet, assuming it's still got 6 working strings on it, or whatever the number is it's supposed to have, some guitars with 12 or other numbers, but yeah, dig it out. And if you've got a cell phone, you've got a guitar tuner, because every cell phone is now a guitar tuner. There's 100 apps for that on your phone. Play that damn thing. And if you don't know how to play it, just make a little noise with it. Have some fun with it. It is Get Out Your Guitar Day. No excuses, folks. I could talk about that one for an hour too, but we're going quick today. So it is Super Bowl Sunday, of course. Game begins at 6:30 Eastern Time. That means that if we try to wrap up in time to see the kickoff, we'll wrap up in 13 minutes. More than 5 minutes, but less than we usually go.
Yeah.
And
so let's hurry up.
Oh, you got more Edison there. Have you got another great Edison quote?
No. We let's just keep moving on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, I intentionally cut it a little bit short. Today we also wish a happy birthday to Sheryl Crow, who is a great singer. But
all she wants to do is have some fun.
Have some fun.
She has a feeling she's not the only one.
That's right. Well, I'm going to tie, as I always do, I'm going to tie it all together. Sheryl Crow, what I love about Sheryl Crow, folks who know me well, you already know what I love about Sheryl Crow.
She's a guitarist.
She's a guitarist. She actually plays. Not only is she a guitarist, she's a bass player. Uh-huh. She actually plays music. Yes. Again, there are great singers out there who are great at a level, of a Pavarotti, who don't need to play an instrument to be a great musician. But I'm always prejudiced. I'm always prejudiced in favor of singers who also play an instrument, who play the instruments that are part of making their music. And that is why I'm going to jump forward. I'm going to go right to the Super Bowl.
Superb owl, everybody.
The superb owl.
I hope you all have your favorite superb owl. And I have mine. I'm going to root for my superb owl. And
who is your superb owl? My superb owl.
Hedwig.
Yeah, it is Hedwig. I don't know. I like that owl that did the Tootsie Pop commercial.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
Yeah, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? And the answer was 3 because that's when that's when he would bite it. Yeah. But no, my superb owl is Patrick Mahomes, who was the superb owl last year too. Now, I've got a lot of reasons why I am going to root for the Chiefs. A, because they gave us such a great game last year. And also because the 49ers took the Super Bowl away from the Detroit Lions 2 weeks ago. And I am going to hold that grudge. I am just a small enough man that I am going to hold that grudge.
So I am officially rooting for Taylor Swift.
And the third reason is, now look at you. You've got some bling.
Yeah, I've got bling on in honor of Taylor Swift. This is what you do as a Swiftie when you go to a concert and you wear, all sequins, everything's shiny. It's just
now, you might have expected more because you've seen Amy with even more bling on. But you're a little under the weather this weekend, so I'm impressed that you...
I got a little...
You got some makeup and you got the bling earrings. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. I think you're ready for Taylor Swift. Yes, it's the Taylor Swift game. And Taylor Swift, as we talked about before, is one of those singers I admire because she also plays instruments. She doesn't just play guitar. She plays piano. There are great videos of Taylor Swift just live.
She's a songwriter. And,
she writes her music and she collaborates. She doesn't do everything by herself. One of the links that I put in the description on YouTube, which I'll have to fix since I screwed that up, but I will fix that, is her NPR mini... They do the Tiny Desk concerts, where they will have a concert in one of the NPR offices or one of the offices that the musicians work out of. And she does that, and she plays piano, and she plays guitar, and she sings, and she does her Taylor Swift stuff. I just admire the fact that she is a musician, not just a singer, although that would be enough. And she's a songwriter. And it turns out she's an incredible entertainer. We told the story about going to see her concert film, even though we weren't particularly fans. And she's an incredible business person and advocate for, what did we mention before?
Inventors?
Intellectual property. That's right. those of you who know
Yes,
her story,
she is.
she's actually re-recorded whole albums because her publishing contracts were so restrictive,
Right.
and did not really give her the either the control or the rewards of her music.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got 10 minutes until the superb owl bowl.
Well, I see the chat, and the chat is active, and thank you for that. Thank you for finding the show after I hit the wrong button and screwed up all the links. And
Yeah, Christopher mentioned that Usher is playing the halftime.
Usher is another artist I don't actually
No.
know anything about.
I'm sure he's okay. He's a red, I'm sure.
It's just funny to me because I shouldn't even say this because there's no reason to say it, but I have to say it. I am sure there will be at least 1 or 200,000 people in the audience who are thinking, why are we watching this when Taylor Swift is here? But, all music matters. So I'll just say that. And it's a football game. This is going to be so good. If it's even half as good as the Detroit Lions game was versus the 49ers 2 weeks ago, if it's anything like last year's Super Bowl, this is going to be a great game. I want to see Patrick Mahomes do it again.
Yeah.
He's
hopefully it's going to be an exciting game. Hopefully it's not just going to be one-sided.
Yeah, and I guess they've got a tight end who's pretty good too. Some guy named Kelce.
Traverse Kelce?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I heard he's pretty good too. And football is life.
Yes.
If you've watched Ted Lasso, you know from Danny Rojas, football is life. Football is life.
Yes, you did a whole Life on Earth on that.
I did a whole Life on Earth on that. The link is, in the show notes when I repair them. And you should watch that as well. But what you should do tonight is you should watch the Super Bowl. This is going to be good. It's going to be a really good Super Bowl. Now, I'm going to start a Zoom meeting right after.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you want to talk to us, we talked about this before. We said, well, how much fun would it be after doing 5 Minutes with Robert and Amy Nasir if we had an after party? In the old days, we talked about doing this on Clubhouse, but that platform's gotten really weird, and I don't think it really works for that anymore. So I put a Zoom link out on Facebook and out on Twitter, and you can find it there if you want. I will start a Zoom meeting after we wrap up the show, and you can join us. Come say hi. And if you want to stick around for a bit, give us your impression of the game as it kicks off in 6 minutes here.
Yes. Yeah, it says Matthew's in the chat on YouTube, and he says he's going to be staying up with us. So
good.
That's wonderful.
Good. Well, we'll see how the game goes and if we actually make it through the whole thing. I'm planning on it. I've already made nachos. In fact, I put a picture of that on Facebook already. So I've got nachos ready to go. Well, you got to have some junk food to eat during football game.
Football. If you don't know football or American football, Tara Smith talks a lot about it, along with other sports, in her philosophical lecture called
Sport as an Avenue for Admiration.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. I don't have it in front of me. Look
like
up
that.
Tara Smith and sport.
Yes.
And it's a great talk. It's the kind of talk which, if you are like us, if you're the kind of person who makes jokes about sport ball, I want to see them play the sport ball. Who is kicking the ball more in getting the point? If you're that kind of person, you're more into...
Can't wait for that Quidditch game.
If you're more into art or more into dance or more into music and not so much into sports, watch, and I'm not exaggerating, it's a real game changer. Oh, that's good. But it is a real game changer. This lecture from Tara Smith at a recent OCon a couple of years ago, you got to watch it. And then you just might be like me, a guy who never, ever watches football games except during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I know that Andrew Bernstein did some sort of thing on sports, but
I've looked that up and added in.
He's actually written a whole book on basketball. Called Heart of a Pagan.
Oh, yeah, that one's fiction, but it's fun.
It's fun, and so he's really into basketball.
Yeah, and Andy actually is into sports.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Unlike some of us who are, fair weather sports fans. But that's okay, because I think a lot of you are the same way.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I hope that the commercials are good. I hope that they're genuinely funny. I hope they have great comic timing. I hope I laugh out loud. I hope I find products that I'll fall in love with because of the advertising.
For years, the only time I would watch the Super Bowl was to watch the commercials. And, I still think they're one of the best parts. When they're good, they're not always good, but when they're good, they are one of the best parts of watching the superb owl. Christopher Smith, of course, is being the kindred spirit. Here it says, I hope they get it by the 4th inning and the ball goes up and they win. And that's why there's Thanksgiving. See, that's us. And I'm still kind of that way, but I'm learning to appreciate the Super Bowl. It's curious because I did this right about the time that Yaron Brook bowed out.
Yeah.
He's been following the sports injuries in football.
Right. Brain injuries are no joke, people.
Yeah.
So when we watch the superb owl today, we'll just
he's been
cross our fingers.
He's expressed his disappointment that the NFL hasn't done more about it.
Yeah.
A lot could be done, or at least some things could be done in regard to how the rules are enforced and in regard to protection, helmets with more padding, whatever it would take. Because there are some sad cases out there of these injuries to brain injuries to the players.
Yeah. I mean, and there are other situations like being a stunt person in Hollywood, where you're going to find that kind of injury, and it's. But
yes.
Yeah.
That's it, and that to me is the point. Is not everybody is going to suffer from brain injury being in football. These guys know what the risks are, and to them, the opportunity is worth more. No risk, no reward. I certainly think about that, and I hope and wish that they will do more about it. But these are grown men, and they're choosing what to do. And again, not all of. If it was the case that every one of these guys was going to be damaged by the time they're 40 years old, I'd say, I probably don't want to see that. So I get it. I was just pointing out the irony of, I now watch the Super Bowl right when a real football fan like Yaron Brook no longer does. I think he mentioned he may be watching it. So he might be taking the game in. He's suggested that he's still a fan of the 49ers, I think he said, which means, I'm going to be rooting for the Chiefs. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I can't imagine that Taylor Swift's boyfriend won't win his... Actually, the real thing is I can't imagine Mahomes won't win because, damn, was he good last year.
Yeah.
Now, you might say, was he good all season? And the answer is, I have no idea. I'm that kind of sports fan. Folks.
Yeah. Oh, happy birthday to Alex, by the way.
Happy birthday to Alex. Really?
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Okay. Happy birthday, Alex. And happy birthday, Linda.
Yes.
If you want to celebrate Linda Cordaire's birthday, you know the right thing to do, which is go to cordaire.com, check out the inventory.
Yes.
If it's in your budget, buy one of the beautiful things you see. But either way, you could send her a note, send her a compliment, say hi on the Facebooks, and all that good stuff. Speaking of the Facebook, speaking of social media, we're just going to wrap up. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining us. I know you usually expect more than 5 minutes, and we've only given you, 6 times that?
Yeah.
But if you want to join us, if you want to talk some more, join us on Zoom. I will make that link live right after we wrap up. In the meantime, we'll do this all over again next week, probably go longer than just 30 minutes, even though we only promised 5, so I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah.
We shortchanged you a little bit by starting late, but I don't want you to start late in watching the game. So we'll let you go. Thank you for joining us. Leave your comments in the chat or leave them on our Facebooks, on our socials. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the Zoom call. And as always, we wish you a good game, a good time, a good party, lots of nachos, take in some junk food, and we wish you love.